Hello, I am Austin McCarthy, the creator of the Titan Tabletop RPG. Today I'm going to be discussing character creation for the system, as well as walking through the steps of creating your own character. To play the game, you'll need two things: a set of polyhedral dice, a 4-sided die, known as a D4, a D6, D8, D10, D12, and most vitally, a D20. In addition to this, you will need to create your character sheet. You can find a digital character sheet at the site Playroll, or use the printout sheet presented in the Hero's Guide, or at titanrepo.wordpress.com. Your character sheet stores all of the stats and information you need to play both the game and your character. To create your character, you need to fill out your character sheet. First, you'll need to determine your starting character level. Your game master will likely decide this, but if not, discuss with your group an appropriate starting level. For first-time players, I recommend that you begin at lower levels 1 to 3. This is due to each level in this system being a fairly drastic power shift and adds a fair amount of complexity to a character. Your level will decide your training and training bonus. Your training bonus begins at +1 at level 1 and scales all the way to +7 at level 20. Your training bonus represents just how proficient your character is in their trained skills, attacks, and contests. Anytime you're required to roll a d20 or 20-sided die involving an attack, skill, or contest with which you are trained, you add your training bonus to the roll, as well as your training level with that particular roll. There are 4 training levels: Trained, which is the baseline, granting you a +2 bonus; Expert, which grants a +4 bonus; Master, which grants a +6 bonus; and Perfected, which grants a +8 bonus. Your training bonus and your training level is your training total for your roll. Rolls may add an attribute modifier to that amount if that attribute applies. Your class is the most important choice you can make for your character. It defines their skills, abilities, specializations, and profession. Each class affects your amount of hit points, core features, training and abilities, and trained contests. Each class also offers training and skills, specialized talents that can be practiced, trained, and improved. There are many skills in Titan, and you will continue to learn skills as you create your character and gain levels. Select your class and add its core features to your character sheet. As a brief overview, there are currently 13 core classes in Titan to choose from. Cultists, able to use curses and spells to debilitate your enemies or aid themselves or allies. Empaths, powerful psionic users fueled by emotion. Fighters, skilled combatants and melee weapon specialists. Gunslingers, range specialists with exceptional luck. Investigators, highly skilled sleuths able to read enemies. Priests, holy people given divine power by their gods. Pugilists, martial artists with versatile fighting styles. Saints, chosen holy champions and protectors. Scalds, musicians and strategists guiding battle with their ballads. Sorcerers, magical prodigy spellcasters born with talent. Stalkers, stealthy assassins and backstabbers. Summoners, arcane spellcasters with a talent for creating magical creatures. And wardens, hardy knights specialized in warfare and defense. Your ancestry defines your character's lineage and heritage, such as whether they are human or some other kind of person. In the Titan Core rules, there are 8 different ancestries to choose from: Amalgam, mechanical androids or risen dead, dwarves, short, stocky, and durable craftsmen, elves, lithe, mystical, and magical people, godchild, favored descendants from one of many gods, hell-touched, people descendant from demonic meddling with mortal kind, humans, average and mundane, but headstrong and tenacious, moonborn, descendants of lycanthropes, hybrid were-creatures, vampire, undead, cursed with vampirism. Once you've chosen an ancestry, input your choice into your character sheet, along with the traits granted by your ancestry. Each ancestry includes an ancestral boon. Boons offer an opportunity to customize your character with new features. You receive boons from numerous sources such as your class, ancestry, and type of class. Select your ancestral boon from your chosen ancestry. Some ancestries, such as Godchild, have special boons depending on which sub-ancestry you have selected. These are marked in their own separate lists. Some other boons require your character to be of a certain level or higher to take, or require other boons as a prerequisite before taking them. Your attributes are the core statistics of your character, which measure their physical and mental abilities. You'll see the 6 attributes on your character sheet listed in the following order. Might, a character's physical strength, used for attacks with weapons, heavy arms, or ranged weapons, as well as determining your carry weight and performing feats of strength. Agility, a character's mobility, balance, and mechanical skills, used for attacks with all light armaments, your armor rating, and skills such as stealth and finesse. Fortitude, a character's endurance and resistance, used for your hit points, resisting fatigue, poisons, and disease. Intellect, a character's logic, mental acuity, and knowledge, used for crafting, investigative skills, recalling information, and for the spells of some classes. Cunning, a character's willpower, perception, and awareness, used for attacks with arms, resisting mental effects, perceptive skills, and the spells of some classes. Lastly, presence, a character's power of personality and influence, is used for influencing others, naturally, and the spells of some classes. Your class details the primary attributes crucial to it. It is recommended that you follow the suggested attributes detailed within your class. There are a handful of ways to generate your attributes. I'll be detailing one of the 3 methods included in the Hero's Guide. This method involves rolling dice, which randomizes the totals of your attributes. This method is known as 4d6 drop 1. For this, you will roll 4d6s, or 6-sided dice, 6 separate times, once for each attribute. Each time you do so, you remove the lowest die roll and total the remaining 3 dice. Once you have done so, you will have 6 rolls ranging from a minimum of 3 to a maximum of 18. You then assign these 6 totals to an attribute. Refer to your class for recommendations on assigning your attributes. Record your attribute scores, the totals you just rolled, as well as their modifiers, an amount based on your scores as seen in the chart here. A score of 10 or 11 has a modifier of +0. A score of 24, which is the maximum attainable in the system, has a modifier of +7. Notice that each even number increases the modifier by 1. The minimum score your character may have is 1, while the maximum is 24. Once you have generated your attributes, return to your ancestry. Each ancestry grants a bonus to an attribute of your choice. Choose which attribute receives this bonus and add it to the totaled roll. Some ancestries also have an attribute penalty, which you will need to reduce an attribute or attributes of your choice. Beside your character's attributes are their contests. Contests, regardless of whether they are trained or not, add your training bonus to the attribute's modifier. A train contest, which you may see in your class, adds only the training level to this amount. With your attributes finished, you can now calculate your starting hit points. Your class, fortitude, and training bonus determine your hit points. Begin with your class's base hit points. Cultists, sorcerers, and summoners have a base hit point value of 7. Empaths, investigators, priests, and scalds have a base hit point value of 9. Fighters, gunslingers, pugilists, saints, and scalds have a base hit point value of 11. Wardens have a base hit point value of 13. To find your maximum hit points, take your class's base maximum hit points and add your fortitude score, not to be confused with your modifier, then subtract 10 from that amount. Each time you gain a level in a class, you increase your maximum hit points by rolling a die as shown in your class's description, adding your training bonus and fortitude score, then subtracting 10 from the roll as previously. Whenever your fortitude score increases, your maximum hit points increase by 1 for each level you have. Now that you have determined your hit points, calculate your death point threshold. Your death point threshold equals half your hit point maximum. Note that When rounding for death points, you will round up. This is one of the few instances in this system where you will round up. Generally, and it is written in the general rules, that you always round down. Next, you'll choose your background, deciding much of your profession, culture, and upbringing. Your background includes a trait, which is a small additional feature for your character, which you may add to your sheet. You will then name and describe your character. Your background, class, and ancestry contain hints at potential character traits for your character. These character traits make up the core personality of your character and can inform you how you may roleplay them. After you've decided your character's traits, you can write a backstory for the character, tying all of this information together. I recommend backstories begin small, adding to it as you play and get a feel for how your group plays. Every group's a little different, and so writing a multi-page backstory for a group of Dungeon Crawler Monster of the Week format may not be necessary, while the inverse of that can also be true. Lastly, you will generate your starting currency and purchase starting equipment. Check with your GM if there are any special exemptions to the typical equipment buying method. Typically, you begin with an amount of mithril pieces equal to 50 plus your character's level multiplied by 100. Meaning at level 1, you have 150 mithril pieces, at level 2, you'd have 250, and so on and so forth. Once you have determined the amount of coin you have to spend, refer to the equipment section of the Hero's Guide, or on Titan's website for a list of potential equipment to purchase. Your class decides what armor and armaments you are trained with, so you should purchase equipment that is detailed in your class. Additionally, your class has further hints about what starting equipment best suits them. If you have purchased armaments, be sure to add those armaments to the attack section on your sheet. If you've purchased armor, update your armor rating. Your armor rating is determined by wearing armor. If you're not wearing armor, your armor rating equals 10 plus your agility modifier plus your training bonus. If you are wearing armor, you add the armor's bonus to your armor rating. Some armors restrict the amount of agility you can apply to your armor rating. The last thing you should do is mark any training you have with skills, update your character speed, luck points, and initiative, and add any spell slots and spells you may have if you are playing a spellcaster class. All characters have a base speed of 30 feet, which may be raised or lowered depending on your features or your ancestry. Your initiative bonus is equal to your agility modifier. You have 2 luck points. These can be spent to modify dice rolls. Gunslingers have 3 luck points. For spellcasters, you can find information regarding your spells and spell slots within your class's description. You will want to choose your spells and update your spell slots, the primary resource for fueling your spells. A more in-depth description of spellcasting will be done on a separate video, as well as guides to each individual class, as there's a lot more complexity to that. Congratulations! You have made your first character in Titan. I know that was a long ride, but now the fun part begins and you're ready to play. Kind of. I'll be making more videos talking about how to play, again detailing the classes and their roles, and giving tips in the future, so I've never said this before, subscribe, I guess. For future videos, there is much more down the pipeline for the future. Thank you for watching, and I hope very much to guide you in your next adventures. Until next time. Bye.